Stop blindly listening to your partner. I feel like a lot of us, whenever our boyfriend or our girlfriend, someone we're talking to, they say something, we blindly listen. We listen without ever questioning it or trying to understand what they're saying. We're like, okay, they said it, so it must be true. They said it, and you're blindly just listening to this person because you trust them. You believe everything that they say. But a lot of the time, people are very controlling. People will say things, will make you do things just because that's the way that they think it should be. And a lot of the time, the way that they think it should be is not the right way. It's not the way that you should be doing things. And a lot of us will just blindly listen. And we have to stop listening to our partner just because they're our partner. We always have to try to understand where they're coming from. And if we don't understand, then we shouldn't be listening. A lot of the time, your partner will tell you something. Your partner will say, hey, I don't like when you go to those places. A good example is if you go out with your single friends to the club, right? It's like you're going out with your friends who are all single. They all like to talk to other people. And your partner is like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with you doing that. I would prefer if you wouldn't. And a lot of people, they would say that's controlling. They're controlling and they're insecure. A lot of people also are like, yeah, if you can't handle a baddie, don't date a baddie. Well, I don't want a baddie then, right? It's like people say baddies are this way. Baddies do these things. But it's if you can't understand why I don't want you to go to certain places or dress certain ways, I don't want to tell you things and you blindly just do them. It's you listen and you try to actually understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm a person, I won't bring something up unless I've thought about it. I've thought about it and I've really sat with it and gave it deeper thinking, right? A lot of people, they'll have one thought and it'll be very impulsive. I don't like when you go to those places. I don't like those friends. I don't like when you wear those things. I don't like when you say this, when you act like this. A lot of people will be very impulsive when that happens, but we need to think about it and understand the other person's perspective as well. A lot of the time we'll get upset at our partner because they're not understanding our point, but we have to understand that our partner isn't exactly who we are. Our partner didn't grow up in the same situations, same scenarios that we did, and now we're faulting them because they can't understand what we're saying. They can't understand our perspective. So it's being patient with your partner and not always listening to them just because they're your partner. A lot of us, that's what we'll do. It's that blind leading the blind, right? But we have to sit with our thoughts, sit with what our partner is telling us, and try to understand what they're saying. Just because we don't agree with what they're saying, whatever they're saying could be super facts. What they're saying could be the right way to go about things, but that's not the way that your previous relationships were. That's not the way your parents are. So now your partner is wrong, but we need to try to understand. Stop blindly listening and stop blindly saying no. It goes both ways. It's just trying to understand our partner's perspective, trying to understand where they're coming from and their upbringing, their perspectives. And it's the same thing with your partner. If your partner isn't understanding of you and the things that you ask of them, the things that you're telling them, then maybe they're not the right person for you. Because the most important thing, in my opinion, in relationships is understanding. Communication is a close second, but it's understanding. Because you can communicate all your needs, all your wants, but if that person doesn't understand, if they can't see where you're coming from, then why communicate in the first place? Because it's both, right? It's the thing that you're delivering, but also how you deliver it, how you say it. But how you say it is just as important as what you're saying. You have to understand your partner. Stop blindly listening to what they have to say. Stop blindly telling them no, denying them, telling them that you're always right. Your partner can and is right some of the time, and you are also right some of the time. So it's sitting down and having that mature conversation, because a lot of us will listen just because they're our partner, or we won't listen because we don't believe our partner. The key is understanding, but the door is communicating. Communicate your needs, communicate your wants, your problems, all of it. But if you don't have communication with understanding, then there's no point of communicating in the first place. So start communicating and start understanding.